Good morning, students. We'll be starting the second part of the chapter Time and Motion. In the last class, we have already started discussing about the motion of a simple pendulum. There are certain definitions we need to remember regarding the motion of pendulum. Few we have already discussed in last class. Let us have a quick recap. The first one is oscillation or oscillatory motion. The to and fro motion which repeats itself after a fixed interval of time is known as oscillation. And what was time period? It was the time taken by the bob to move from one extreme position to another extreme position and to come back to the first extreme position. That is one complete oscillation, and the time taken to complete one oscillation is known as time period. It is denoted by the letter capital T, and its SI unit is second. Now we will be learning some new terms. One is frequency. The number of complete oscillations in 1 second is known as frequency. It is denoted by the letter small f, and its SI unit is Hertz, Hertz or Hz as abbreviation. This is the name of a scientist. So when we are using the name of a scientist as unit, we'll be writing all in small letter. Remember this. Now the word frequency is very common in English. What is the frequency of your science class or maths class? You can say we have 4 classes per week. So how many times it is occurring? That is frequency. Here we are saying that how many times the oscillation is completed in 1 second. The number of times is frequency. The last one is amplitude. The maximum displacement of the bob of a pendulum from its mean position, it is known as amplitude. So the distance between the mean position and extreme position is known as amplitude. It is denoted by the letter small a, and its SI unit is meter. Let us do a simple numerical problem on pendulum. A pendulum completes 60 oscillations in 5 seconds. Calculate its time period and frequency. Let us use unitary method to solve this problem. We have to find out the time taken by one oscillation. So we are writing the statement as 60 oscillations are completed in 5 seconds. So one oscillation will be completed in 5 by 60 seconds. If we reduce, we are getting 1 by 12 seconds. You have already learned it in unitary method chapter in maths. So the time period is equal to 1 by 12 second, which is the time to complete one oscillation. Now we have to find out the frequency. That means how many number of times the oscillation is completed in 1 second. So we are writing the same line in a different way. Number of oscillations in 5 seconds will be 60. So number of oscillation in 1 second will be 60 by 5, that is 12. So frequency will be 12 Hertz. Note that time period was 1 by 12 second and frequency is 12 Hertz. So we can say that frequency and time period are reciprocal to each other. This is an important relationship we have to remember. We will be using it for doing numerical problems. Now what is motion? When the position of a body changes continuously with respect to time and its surroundings. Here surrounding means a reference point or a stationary object. The body is said to be in motion. Now with the help of an example, we have to explain that rest and motion, these two terms are relative. There is nothing called absolute rest or nothing called absolute motion. Let us take an example. A passenger sitting in a moving bus is at rest with respect to the passenger sitting beside him, because both of them are moving with same speed. But to an observer outside the bus, the same passenger is in motion because he is seeing from a different reference point which is outside the moving vehicle. So, about the passenger, we cannot say that he is either at rest or he is in motion. It all depends on the reference point. What is the distance time graph? Distance time graph is a line graph which represents the distance travelled by an object in a given interval of time from a given set of data. Let us plot a graph to show distance time relationship using the following data. What kind of motion does it depict? Here we can see a table is given, time in minutes, 2, 4, 6, 8, and distance in kilometer, that is 20, 40, 60 and 80. Now we can understand easily that at every 2 seconds the distance travel is 20 kilometer. 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, this way it goes. So it represents uniform motion because equal distance is travelled in equal interval of time. Now we have drawn a distance time graph where time is plotted along x-axis and distance is plotted along y-axis. We have chosen a scale and we have marked the time 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 this way, and on y-axis we have taken distance travel in kilometers. Now we have to mark the point on the graph paper to represent each set of values for distance and time. The table shows that at time 0 minute the distance travelled is also 0. So the point corresponding to this set of values on the graph will therefore be the origin. After 2 minutes, the object has moved a distance of 20 km. Mark this set of values. The point that represents 2 minutes is located on x-axis and a line parallel to y-axis is drawn through this point. Then the point that represents 20 km is located on y-axis and another parallel line is drawn to x-axis, and the point where these lines intersect represents this set of values on the graph. Similarly, the points corresponding to different set of values are marked on graph paper. This is how we are drawing a distance time graph. Distinguish between uniform and non-uniform motion. When a body covers equal distances in equal intervals of time, it is said to be uniform motion. We have already seen in the previous slide that the distance time graph is always a straight line for uniform motion. And when a body covers unequal distances in equal intervals of time, it is said to be non-uniform motion. And the distance time graph will be a curved line for non-uniform motion. Here we can see a few examples are given in the figure, that the body, in the first figure, the body is traveling equal distance of 4 meter in every 2 seconds. So 0 to 2 seconds it is traveling from 0 kilometer to 4 kilometer. Then next 2 seconds it is traveling from 4 kilometer to 8 kilometer. Third 2 seconds it is traveling from 8 meter to 12 meter. So it is an example of uniform motion. But in the second figure, in the second case, we can see for equal interval of time, the distance traveled are varying. So, it is represented by a curve. Let us do an experiential learning on speed, calculation of speed. This is a very easy thing. We can always arrange these things at home. Let us draw a straight line on the ground with chalk powder and lime, and we can ask one of our friends to stand 1 or 2 meters away from the line. Then we'll tell him to gently roll a ball along the ground in a direction perpendicular to the line, as it is shown in the figure. Note the time at the moment the ball crosses the line and also when it comes to rest. How much time does the ball take to come to rest? Measure the distance between the point at which the ball crosses the line and the point where it comes to rest. You can use a scale or a measuring tape. Let different groups repeat the activity, record the measurements in table. In each case, calculate the speed of the ball. There is a table given. You can note down name of the group. Then you can note down the distance in meter, then the time in second. Then by dividing distance by time, you can get the speed of the ball in meter per second. That is the SI unit of speed. What is speed? The rate of change of motion is called speed. In other words, distance traveled in unit time is called speed. It is expressed by the formula speed is equal to distance by time. SI unit of speed is meter per second. Now, what is the name of the instrument that shows speed of a moving vehicle? The instrument is known as speedometer. We have all seen a speedometer in car. Now, we'll be knowing the name of the instrument that shows the distance traveled by a moving car. The instrument is named as odometer, which measures the distance traveled. Now, let us do one numerical problem. A bus starts from initial position A and reaches B at a distance of 30 km in 25 minutes. Then it reaches C at a distance of 20 km in 10 minutes, and finally to D at a distance of 40 km in 25 minutes. Calculate the average speed of the bus. Total distance traveled from A to D is equal to 30 plus 20 plus 40, that is 90 km. And total time taken is equal to 25 plus 10 plus 25, that is 60 minutes or 1 hour. So, average speed of the bus is equal to total distance travelled by total time taken, that is 90 km by 1 hour, that is equal to 90 km per hour. Critical thinking questions. Paheli and Bojo have to cover different distances to reach their school, but they take the same time to reach the school. What can you say about their speed? This is a question from NCERT exemplar. It's a hot questions. So note down in your notebook. It's very easy to infer that they do not have equal speed because they cover unequal distances. They took different routes in equal intervals of time. When a body covers unequal distances in equal interval of time, it is said to move in non-uniform motion. So one of them has higher speed and one is lower. Which one will be having higher speed? The one who has travelled larger distance, that either Paheli or Bojo, it depends. Whoever has travelled larger distance, he or she will have the greater speed. Second question, if Bojo covers a certain distance in 1 hour and while he covers the same distance in 2 hours, who travels with a higher speed? In the previous question, note that the distance was different, and in the second question, the distance traveled remained same, but the time was different. Now, whoever is traveling the same distance with greater time interval, obviously he or she is moving slow. So Bojo travels with higher speed as he has covered same distance in lesser time with respect to Paheli. Now what is the learning outcome? Students will be able to define speed and know its formula. They will be able to differentiate between uniform and non-uniform motion. They will be able to draw distance time graph from a given set of data. They will be able to know about the instruments measuring speed and distance traveled by a moving vehicle. They will be able to perform an activity to measure the speed of a ball. I hope all of you understood all the parts of the chapter. Thank you, children.